So finally, I think we can begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this live webinar for Pathway Education. We are extremely happy to have you here on this platform. I'm your host, Jasim, and today we'll be talking about Jönköping University's Pathway Education. What is, who is it for? How can you apply for it? And all other practicalities around our pathway education and the student experience, of course. And today in this webinar, we have our guests from Pathway Education, Pathway Admissions, which is who is Charlotte Carlson and Jessica Boom. And interestingly, we also have our one of our alumni, Shahla Shahwe, joining us, and she will be sharing her experience of how she went through this and how, when she came up, what were her expectations, and when she have gone through the education, how does she feel today? So she'll be sharing her experiences. In the end, you'll be able to ask your Q&A session. In our Q&A session, you'll be able to ask questions to us, to the admissions, to the to alumni if you want. That's open for you all. And lastly, some tips. Please do not use the chat function when you are going to communicate with us. Use Q&A session for writing your questions. We will not be able to answer people who will write on chat function. Please try to write everything on Q&A session. We will be recording this, and you will be able to see and hear the presenters only. And later, this video would be also uploaded on our web and some other different platforms. So you'll be able to see it or share it with your friends if you would wish to do that. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Charlotte. Thanks, Jessica. Thanks, Shala. I hand over the floor to you guys.
Thank you, Jasim. I'm going to start the presentation here. There we go. So we're going to talk about your pathway to studying at Jönköping University, or other universities in Sweden as well. That's also possible. Jessica?
Yes, so pathway programs, if you do not meet the English requirements because your English test results are not sufficient, we have something we call pathway program to offer. And to see the requirements, you can go to the Pathway Admissions website. And a unique combination is to apply for pathway program with combination with a bachelor or master program at the same time, which means you get pre-assessed for the bachelor or master program of your choice, and you're also guaranteed admission if you successfully complete the pathway program, as long as the follow-up program is not cancelled or significantly changed.
Yes, and our pathway programs are held at Campus Gränna. So Jönköping is at the end of the Lake Vättern in Sweden, and the pathway programs are at Campus Gränna in the town of Gränna here. So it's about 40 minutes to an hour by bus, depending on which bus you take. Campus Gränna is located in the center of the town, walking distance from student accommodation. The school, there are several wooden buildings there. Some of them date back to the 18th century, so the 1900s. The accommodation for students includes separate rooms with bedrooms with shared kitchens and bathroom. And the accommodation is for students only, no family members or visitors. The cost of the pathway programs include half board. That means Lunch and dinner are served in the restaurant on campus. Breakfast and late meals can be prepared in the student residences. Meals off campus are not included in the fees, so you have to, but that's a way to taste other types of cuisine rather than just what's served in the restaurant on campus. It's a fairly safe place to live. There's an accommodation manager on campus during evening and nights to help with practical matters. And there's a local health center not far from campus. So here's one of the buildings, one of the main buildings. And here you see the campus with the small wooden buildings. But who can tell us more about the campus Gränna and the student accommodation than Shala? I mean, you lived there, Shala.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I'm so nice to be here with you. And Gränna is a gorgeous city. Gränna, as I found it out, has been one of the most memorable destinations for tourists in summer, with its mountain, as you said, lake and island. I think every season in this city has its own beauties. Gränna is a small paradise that takes you to a world of absolute serenity. Also clear, favorable climate, friendly and hospitable people, and also high security helps students enjoy a pleasant and a safe pathway journey. Campus Gränna has included a variety of buildings, as you said, that have high historical value. And the campus is located in the center of Gränna, with modern facilities for teaching and both pathway, students' accommodation and dining hall are very close to the school. I mean that all the students can have a nice walk with their friends and classmates whenever they want. And the dining hall has an amazing view of the lake with its nice staff. And I can say that restaurants, cafes, and markets and candy stores and also gyms surrounded the campus. I want to say that it's an indescribable experience, and I think that's all I have to say about campus.
I have a question, Shala.
Yeah.
When it comes to the restaurant on campus, what kind of food do they serve?
Actually, as most of participants know that pathway has full of international students, so we can experience different kinds of food: Swedish, Persian, and Chinese, and a lot of different foods, and that's a good point. Because we can know more about all traditions, all cultures, and it makes us very close together.
So the students are involved with the staff and the people who cook the food to talk about what kind of food you want to have.
Yeah, actually we can tell them, we can have some opinions or some ideas. For example, if they ask us what do you think about today's food, or what do you feel about that, and actually it's good idea, because we are in a good relationship with them, and they can help us to learn more about Swedish culture, and they are really friendly and nice. And I want to say that almost always I have connection with them until now. The staff are really perfect.
Good.
Yeah.
You still miss their food?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know, because that's one of the questions that potential applicants might ask when it comes to
Yeah,
campus
sorry, I
development.
want to interrupt you. Actually, it's good to say that they always help students and listen to their complaints if there is something, if they don't like food, if they don't like maybe their behavior, but I don't think so, because I have experienced a lot of good like memories with them. But there are different kinds of food, so it's good for international students.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shala. If you do have more questions about the campus, the accommodation, the restaurants, things like that, there's a Facebook page for the pathway programs, and there you can ask questions there and get the response from people who live there, who teach there. So that's a suggestion to make sure that you get the right reply and the right answers. We're gonna start talking about what kind of pathway programs are available, because the pathway program depends on your level of English. So for instance, there's a pathway summer course. It's a 4-week course, July 19th until August 13th of this year. And then the bachelor and master programs start on August 23rd. So there's a 10-day period where you move from Gränna to Jönköping. For the pathway summer course, the minimum English requirement would be, for instance, an IELTS of 6.0 with no part below 5.5, and the TOEFL equivalence of that. We have more accepted English tests, but we will get to that later on. But the Pathway Summer course will prepare you for studying at a university in Sweden, prepare you for living in Sweden, and adjust to the demands that are special to Swedish higher education. Like I said, the program fees are combined, both tuition fee and boarding fee section. So the boarding fee is paid by all students. That includes if you are a citizen of an EU country, you don't have to pay tuition fee, but you do have to pay the boarding fee. So we have that clear. Now that was the Pathway Summer course, but what if your English is a little bit lower?
Yes, there is something we call a pathway semester that we can offer. And for this autumn, it will be a 16-week program, and it's from August 23rd to December 10. And what is important to point out is, after completing a pathway semester, you have to return home when it's done in December. And until the following autumn, you will come back if you have a conditional offer to JU for autumn 2022. And also, here's like the minimum English requirements. You have an IELTS of 5.5 with no part below 5.0. And also for TOEFL, you have 72 and 17 in writing. And for Pathway Summer, Pathway Semester will also give you language preparation in English, in reading, writing, listening, and speaking, necessary for enrollment in the degree programs at Jönköping University. Also, how to adapt to Swedish culture to making it easier to live and study in Sweden, the basic knowledge in the Swedish language, and also supporting adjusting to the demands, challenges, and expectations of Swedish higher education. And here's, as Charlotte also said about the tuition fee and the boarding fee. The boarding fee is paid by all students, as a EU student as well. And if you don't just want to go home after the pathway semester, autumn, we also have pathway semester spring, which would be for admission for autumn to the next January 2022. So we're not going to talk about that spring today. And also, if you preferable want to stay a whole year, we have something called Pathway Year General, which are the same English requirements as a pathway semester, but you're studying a whole year instead. And for Pathway Year General, this is from August 23rd to June 10, 2022. And for Pathway Year General, we also have, as the same as in pathway semester and summer, it gives you the preparation for reading, writing, listening, speaking in English. And we also have, what is a new thing with this program is you have elective courses. So with this program, some of the credits are elective, where you can choose courses to create a better pathway to your program. So the program includes 22.5 predetermined credits and 37.5 elective credits. And these elective courses, which you have to choose after arriving at Campus Gränna. So you have elective block, like for instance, you can have Pathway Swedish 1 and Pathway Mathematics, for instance, semester 1. Elective block 2, semester 2. There are like elective courses this semester may have certain prerequisites. It's like if you have Pathway Swedish 1 and 2, and Pathway Mathematics, and so on. Also to point out is, even if you have the English requirements, but you don't have the mathematics, it's a perfect choice to choose to study, and you can get into one of our Bachelor for Business at Jönköping University. And the tuition fee and the boarding fee are as the other ones. Boarding fee is paid by all students.
Shala wants to ask something.
Yes, please, Shala.
Not actually, I wanted to mention something about Swedish course, but if you want, you can continue, and after I will do that.
Please.
Yeah, thank you so much. First, I want to say that jag talar lite svenska.
Good.
Jag bor i Jönköping och jag studerar system på Jönköping University. The Swedish course was one of the most enjoyable classes that I experienced in Pathway, actually. Excellent and nice teachers increased this pleasure. And I learned about Swedish culture, as you mentioned that, and I also found that having fika plays an important role in Sweden, and because it creates an excellent communication skill between students, teachers, colleagues, and etc. But fika is a coffee break. But it's not about just having like kanel bulle or drinking coffee. It's about socializing. And this course enables the students to get close to Swedish culture and more importantly, experience digital examination system at university. That was just this I wanted to say, because you mentioned about Swedish course 1 and 2. I wanted to say that. Yeah.
Oh, it's perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, and if your English is not as good for to enter into pathway semester or pathway year general, we have another pathway year, English, where the focus is to help you get to where you need to be able to study in Sweden. Pathway year English program runs from August 23rd to May 2nd. So it's a little shorter than the pathway year general. But the focus is on English. And so if you have an IELTS of 5.0 and no part below 4.5, this would be an option for you. Since Shala studied pathway year English, we have changed. So this is a brand new, as well as pathway year general and pathway year English are new programs starting next autumn. Here there's still a possibility to do a few elective courses. So for instance, if you don't fulfill the mathematics requirement for our bachelor programs in business, you might want to take pathway mathematics, or you need to take pathway mathematics instead of pathway Swedish course. Now, the Swedish you can still study while you're studying the bachelor program at Jönköping University. So you will still have an opportunity to learn what Shala has learned when it comes to saying a few things in Swedish. But the main focus of pathway year English is to get you ready for studying at a university in Sweden with the language requirements needed for that. So, and because it is a shorter year, the tuition fee is slightly less because you also have less elective courses. Pathway year general is a little bit more expensive, but that is because you have the entire second semester to choose elective courses. So it does make it a little bit more expensive. Now the pathway program fees, they have to be paid in full before starting the program. So it's unfortunately not possible to divide the payment in two installments. The full fee has to have been paid in order for your admission to be guaranteed, and in order for the migration agency to process an application. But what would you need to be able to submit an application?
Yes, here are what you need to prepare for making an application. You need to send or upload a passport, letter of motivation, and proof of English. Also the high school documents or academic documents. And please see the specific country requirements for exceptions. And scanned documents must be scanned in color over the original document and with every part of the page visible and easy to read. And also some English tests must be made available to Jönköping University. And that information can be found on the Pathway Program Requirements page.
Which we are going to get to. We will move on to our website. So this is what the admissions website looks like. And here we have how to apply pathway. So this is where you go to submit an application. And from here you have access to information about the pathway programs, accommodation and arrival, Campus Gränna, the program fees, and more information here. If you're interested in studying at Jönköping University and you don't have sufficient English, you might want to check what degree programs we do offer and see what you want to study. Once you know what you want to study, the next step is to figure out what level of English you do have. And this, under the pathway program requirements, we have listed all the accepted English tests. We have the minimum entry requirements for the English tests. So you can check here to see which pathway program would suit you the best. And there are some tests that need to be submitted directly to Jönköping University, like the TOEFL test, for example. And if you already meet the minimum requirements for a program at Jönköping, you can still do Pathway Summer. But if you fulfill the English requirement, but not the mathematics requirement for our bachelor programs in business, like we said, Pathway Year General is an opportunity to become eligible and experience what it is to live in Sweden and study at higher education in Sweden in a safe environment where you do get a lot more help than you will when you start an actual degree program. So it's a safe environment to learn in. But then you make a choice. You're applying either for pathway and a master program, or a pathway and a bachelor program that's undergraduate. If you're interested to apply to a different university in Sweden, you could apply for a pathway program as it is, just study the pathway, because that will still get you the English requirement needed, and you have the opportunity to learn how things work in Sweden before you move on to a Swedish university. And if you are interested in a master program, you click on that link, and here you have information about how to apply, what documents are required. And there are certain countries where the transcript has to be submitted directly from the issuing university. For instance, Bangladesh, Cameroon, Ghana, Nigeria. If you studied in Pakistan, your degrees and transcripts must be attested by the Higher Education Commission in Pakistan and submitted in an envelope that has been sealed by the HEC. So this is very important, but all the other documents you can upload. So uploading is the preferred way of submitting documentation, but make sure that you know that there are these exceptions and that you check those.
Yes, and the same goes for pathway with a bachelor program. And if you just scroll down the page, you can find the required documents to read through what you need to submit your application. And you can read about how to submit the documents to your application. And as for the master programs, we also have specific country requirements for the bachelor's. And here you need to have, for instance, with Pakistan, you need to send in your documents and has to be attested from IBCC and in a sealed envelope to arrive to admissions office here in Jönköping. And for instance, if you have high school from the United States, your transcript has to be sent from the school directly to us by post as well. And to submit documents, we prefer you to upload your documents in a PDF format, or it should be in a PDF format. So, and
so should we
let's
check to see what it looks like
to make an application to Pathway?
Yeah.
So we're just going to show how to make an application. For this time, we do a Pathway program with a bachelor program. And you can see here, it's a lot of choices. And just think about your English test, what you're having, and then choose your summer, semester, or year, for instance. And also with which bachelor program in this case. So here we choose Pathway Year General and to business bachelor programs. And here you write down your first name, and here for surname, it's your last name. And the email address is your own email address. And please be aware you have to write it correctly, because it is the only way we communicate with you is by email. As a telephone and the address, the street where you live, postal code and the city, your home city, and the country. Nationality is what it says on your passport. So it could be you are living in Afghanistan but have a passport that is from Saudi Arabia, for instance. Okay. All right. So so it's two different things: the home address and the nationality. Civic number is only used if you have a Swedish personal number. So you don't have to fill in that one. And the date of birth, please use the calendar, because we are writing it in another way here in Sweden. So year, month, and day. So you'll write it in the right order. For instance.
So once you've gotten to this part, again, sometimes your nationality and the country of residence is the same. Yeah. So then it's,
We have some applicants often writing down like a friend or something living in Sweden. Please don't do that. It's better if you just write down your home address.
It's where you actually will be coming from. Now, it's a possibility that you have applied through university admissions and received a notification there that says that your English is not sufficient. So if you have applied to the autumn 2021 at university admissions, but your English is not sufficient and you want to apply for a pathway starting in autumn 2021, you could put your university admissions, or you should put your university admissions application number there, and then let us know, we'll show this later, that you have paid the application fee that responds to the autumn 2021 intake. So you don't have to pay it twice. But we'll get to that a little bit later down here. Now, this section that says for recruitment consultants only. What is a recruitment consultant? Yasim, can you give another name for that?
Yeah, it's, in a lot of countries, we have a lot of different agencies or recruitment consultants or admission consultants or, helpers who help students for making an application. So you have to write their name if you're taking services from someone and their email address. So we know who you have taken help from.
So it's not the applicant's name, and it's not if they're...
No, it's absolutely not. It's the name of the person if they have taken help, or the name of the company they have taken help from. And this is for our sake of information, and why we ask this is because if we can then know that if we are working with the ones who have a contract with us, then we can cross-reference and check those names as well.
Yeah, so that's good also, because so basically this is a recruitment consultant that does this for a living. So it's not your family member or your friend who's studying already at JU. No, it's someone who does it for a living, because it helps us with more than that. We can check also that agents that we work with, Jasim, that we have an opportunity to correct any mistakes that happens, or
exactly,
give them correct instructions, information, guidance on how to help.
And
the students.
Also, if students are listening this, I mean, if you would want help from one of the agents or consultants in your region or in your country, you could always get in touch with us, and we can help you to let you know who that could be. But only if you need that.
Yeah, if you can do this on your own, that's fine. And if you're doing this on your own, you don't have to put anything there. So the next section is your English test. So depending on which test you have, well, IELTS is most common, so we'll just use this for now. Then you need to upload the documents that we need to check. So there are a few guidelines here, and that's you can only upload 10 files in total. The file format has to be PDF, nothing else, no images or Word documents, PDF. The name of the file cannot be more than 50 characters long, but keep it as short as you can. The size can be no more than 10 megabytes. But still, if you have a document that has 3-4 pages, scan all of those pages in one PDF file. Don't do 1 page per file, because then you might have a problem because of the fact that you have too many files used. The document name, don't use a period in it, because that will confuse the system when we look at them. So what you do to upload, you click on the button, choose file. So what we said was, don't use a period. So this name, for example, to period transcript. No, just have the letters. Numbers work fine, but no dot, no hyphen. So for instance, high school grades. that's very clear to tell us what this document is. Add more documents, click on the plus sign, and then choose a new file. Your IELTS test, for example. You want more files, click on the plus and add more files as you go along. So a letter of motivation, perhaps. That would be good. And a high school diploma. And if you have your documents issued in a language that is not English and not German, and you need to have a translation, the translation has to be made by an authorized translator. And then the translation document is itself an original document. All the pages is an original document. So you upload all the necessary documents. Now remember that you will be able to go back and upload more documents. So if you, for instance, you haven't finished your letter of motivation, then you just upload it a day or so later when you have completed it. And again, if you have problems to upload, send an email to Pathway Admissions and we will be able to help so that we can see what the problem might be. Now, every applicant who is not a citizen of an EU country or Switzerland or the European Economic Area, those students, they need to pay an application fee of 900 Swedish kronor. It's about 100 euros. If you are a citizen of the European Union and you're not required to pay an application fee, you click this box here. If you then click the next button, it will complete the application. It will send the application through. So next just means submit in this case. Now, if you are paying the application fee, you leave these two blank and click on next. And that will send you to the payment site. And you can use a Visa, MasterCard, or Maestro card to pay. Now, if you don't have a Visa or MasterCard, you might want to pay in another way. Let me see if I can. Okay. Then you click on the I have already paid the application fee, because then we can help you with how to pay in a different way. But you need to have submitted your application. You have to have an application number to be able to do that. So if you click this and then press next, that will submit the application. It will complete this application. And once you've done that, you will receive a confirmation email that shows that you have submitted the application. It will give you your application number. That number is important when you contact the admissions office so that we know exactly who you are. And also in that email, there will be a link where you can get back to uploading more files. So if you're going to upload, you missed one document to upload, do not make a new application. go back to your original application and upload more files. If you have uploaded 10 files and you can't upload any more, contact Pathway Admissions through the email and ask us for help, because then we might be able to remove some documents that we don't really need, perhaps, that you uploaded that shouldn't have been uploaded. And then we give you space to upload more documents. So before you submit any new application, check with us first. That is the most important thing to remember. Now, if you had paid the application fee at university admissions, you need to submit proof of that payment to us. And on the application, on the admissions website, there's a button that says frequently asked questions. That's a very good place to find a few answers, like, how can I send proof of payment from university admissions if I applied there but want to do a new application with JU? You click on that one, and this will give you a step-by-step information on what you need to upload as proof of the payment at university admissions. And that is the conclusion of the presentation itself. So let's check.
Thanks, Jessica. Thanks, Charlotte. Thanks, Shala. So we can now move over to the Q&A session. Students can ask questions. Please write your questions there and we will be shortly answering them.
We have a first question here from Ikram. Within my master's study, is it possible for me to work? It's possible. The residence permit for studies means that you are allowed to work, but always remember that your studies is supposed to be full-time studies. So you should devote 40 hours per week for your studies and work as a way to earn a little bit of extra money. It's not very easy to find work that doesn't require you to speak Swedish, but there's still work available. So yes, you can work, but you should remember that the focus is full-time studies, and then you can work a little bit extra on the side. Now with the pathway, it's still possible to work, but with the pathway, it's very important to remember that the pathway programs require you to be in class pretty much the whole week. It's Monday through Friday. And correct me if I'm wrong, Shala, but it's like 9 a.m. till 3 or something like that. Yeah.
Full-time student.
Full-time student on campus. Yes.
And I'd like to mention something about pathway education system. It's not based on traditional methods. Actually, teachers provide a great plan for students that can help students to experience different courses and different skills and improve their skills and knowledge with different techniques. For example, like a discussion, debate, speech, writing essays and academic articles, and how to avoid plagiarism at university. Actually, I want to say I experienced very warm and healthy environment with my kind and knowledgeable teachers. And all these experience helped me to have a strong start, to have a reliable and good start at engineering school.
Shala, when you came to study with us, what was the level of your English? Were you able to speak or communicate with people?
Not actually. I couldn't speak. I was ashamed most of the time. I couldn't make connection with people. But actually, I told you, teachers are really warm and friendly. They help you, they motivate you, and I would like to say that it was a great challenge. It was a great step for me in my life at Jönköping.
Great. We are happy to have you.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Just a piece of information that because we had a question that was about the possibility of scholarships at Jönköping University. And the scholarships that we have are for bachelor and master programs. So unfortunately, there's no scholarship for the pathway programs at the moment. Just to make sure that you know that.
I got one question from one of our agents, actually, and they asked about if when we go to the fee section of the pathway education, so there is pathway semester spring, and then there is pathway semester English. And what is the difference between both of them? And the fee is also a bit different between them.
That is because this is going to be removed, because the pathway semester spring for 2021, that is the students that are studying right now, according to the older versions of the programs. So these have been changed now. So now it's pathway semester English that will start in autumn of 2021, and the fees have been changed as of the summer, pathway summer and onwards. The fees have been changed. They've been updated.
Okay.
And so that's the reason. But the pathway semester spring 2021 will be removed shortly. They just haven't had time to do that yet.
Okay.
See. No other questions from our 11 attendees? Like Jassim said in the beginning, we're recording this and it will be available to view later on the web,
yes,
Facebook, a few others. So so check in and see if you when we've uploaded that. So the Facebook pages are a good way to start.
Yeah. And I think we can just wait maybe another minute or so. We were thinking of doing it until 16, until 4. So we still have 4 minutes, but it seems like everyone is extremely clear of what has been presented, so which is really good.
Yeah. We do have a question from Ikram. If he just he asks, if I just apply for pathway program, can I apply for another university in Sweden? Yes. Pathway summer is just a 4-week course, so that means you don't have a residence permit, that would be just a visiting visa. And right now with the COVID pandemic, the visas are not issued, just to make sure that but if you are studying Pathway Summer only, that means that you will have to wait to apply for the 2022 autumn semester at another university. There are universities in Sweden that have programs that start in January as well. So if you're doing Pathway Summer, it's possible to apply for a program at a Swedish university that starts in January of 2022.
And our pathway education also fulfills the criteria for BI in Norway?
Yes. And we have a collaboration with BI Norwegian Business School in Oslo, where the pathway year general or pathway year English leads to eligibility to their one of their two bachelor programs. And that means also that if you fulfill the English requirement, but you only have 12 years of schooling, you need a 13th year to be eligible for their bachelor programs. So that will give you that year that you need. And so after completing the pathway year, you would then move on to start studying in Oslo in August after you've completed pathway. And those students will have contact with BI Norwegian Business School throughout their pathway year and get help. Arabella asks if she has applied for Pathway Summer plus a master degree, how should I apply for my residence permit? Well, the residence permits, you should apply based on the dates in your letter of acceptance. So that means that for Pathway Summer plus a master's, you get a letter of acceptance for the bachelor, the pathway course that are available there. The start of the Pathway Summer course and the end of the academic year the following year. For the other pathway programs like Pathway Semester or Pathway Year, you will receive a letter of acceptance for the pathway program only. And that is what you apply for residence permit for, because then you will have to have passed the pathway program before you receive a letter of acceptance to the bachelor or master program that you have been pre-assessed for.
Great. Thanks, Charlotte. Thanks, Jessica. Thanks, Shala. It has been a great session. Thanks for your help. And thank you all the students. You have been extremely good asking questions and participating in this presentation. Thank you for joining in. And please keep looking at our website for more webinars coming up. We also have webinars coming up for special thematic sessions where we would be having interviews with our professors from different schools. So please tune in to our web and find out what kind of webinars are coming up. Thank you very much and have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.